You don't need complex, over-the-top designs to create bestsellers on Etsy. In fact, most of the designs that actually take off are surprisingly simple. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. I'm going to show you my little design hack for taking a current trend that's showing up both on and off of Etsy and turning it into a winning print-on-demand product that fits a profitable niche. I'll walk you through the full process, including how I use AI and Kittl Flows to quickly restyle the design for different audiences and how to bring it all to life with an in-demand giftable product like ornaments. So whether you're brand new or you've been designing for a while, this is the kind of simple, smart design hack that can help you create listings that actually sell. In case you haven't met yet, my name is Mandy, a busy boy mom and active top 1% seller on Etsy. I've collectively made over $1 million as a product-based business owner over the years between handmade and print on demand. And so now I am on a mission to help creative entrepreneurs like you feel confident in growing your Etsy business with print on demand so that your products can get seen, loved, and sold without inventory and without the overwhelm. Now, here's the thing. A lot of new sellers think that the secret to standing out is having these super detailed, fancy designs that take them hours to complete. And I'm not saying those designs won't sell. Quality is always important. But what also makes people stop scrolling isn't always about complexity. It's connection. Simple sells, especially when that simplicity is paired with meaning. And if you've watched my Seen, Loved, and Sold series here on my channel, you already know this formula. Your product gets seen through visibility from a trend or keyword that's in demand. It's loved because it creates a connection with your buyer. And it's sold when your listing optimization gives that final little boost of buyer confidence. So today's design hack is all about connecting the seen and loved part. So we'll take a trending element that's already getting attention, blend it with a simple design structure in a niche your customer identifies with, and place it onto a winning product that is in demand. Because that's when a trend goes from just cute to an actual cha-ching. Now, the trend we're working with today is teddy bears. And I know this is kind of an unusual one, but they're literally popping up everywhere. And not just for kids. I've spotted them at the mall and on trend-forward sites like Anthropologie. I've come across them on TikTok for specific niches. There are already Etsy listings with high demand. And there's even preppy versions happening for kid and baby celebrations too. Just make sure you're not using anything trademarked. And what's great about this trend is that it's a bit nostalgic and also super versatile, which means it can be adapted in a variety of different ways for a variety of different audiences. For today's example, I'm going to combine two of my favorite themes, Baby's First Christmas and sports fans, or specifically sports mom niches, both of which are consistent sellers year after year and open up a ton of different possibilities. And for this design, I'm going to use an ornament as my product. That combination gives us a customer identity connection and the giftable factor. Two things that drive high conversions, especially this time of year. So for this one, we are going to be in Kittl, and I just started an art board. It's 2000 by 2000. It's a little bit bigger than we need for an ornament, but I tend to like to design on bigger canvases just in case I want to take those designs and put them on other products. So that is the artboard size that I'm using. And then I am going to be using the SimplyPOD ornament from Printify. I have a separate video on why I like this ornament in particular, so I'll link that for you. But when I'm in here, I like to just grab the actual design template so that I can use it for my placement in the design. So I'm just going to download that design template and then I'll bring that over to Kittl and upload it to my artboard. Then once it's in here, I can simply expand it to fill the space, and it's a square, so it should fit nicely. And then I want to be able to design over it and not have it in the way. So I'm just going to grab my opacity over here and lower that just so that I can barely see it. And really all I'm using it for is just to get this outline here and know where the hole is on the ornament, just so I stay within that so it's nice and perfectly placed when it's ready for the product itself. And then quite often I like to work in batches, or I might come back to this and design more later. So I actually don't want to have to keep uploading this template. So I'll simply duplicate this one and leave one of these alone. And now I've got a fresh canvas to work on. So I'm ready to start designing. Since the theme of this will be sports related and for baby's first Christmas, I'm just going to start with some simple text here. And instead of just baby's first Christmas, I want to have it really connect with that theme. So let's go with little all-star. And then we'll expand this, duplicate text, and then we'll just have a placeholder here to have everything in line. And we'll do first Christmas. And I like to use typically 2 font mixes. I often will do something that's got a little bit of a script to it. And I really like one called Helmera. And then I often will mix it with either a sans serif, which is kind of a straight one like this, or I will go with something that's more of an actual serif that has kind of the little ticks on the side of it. So I will do one I like here. I like this Bond Vance, so that one has got just a little bit of a different look to it. And again, any of them are fine. I just like to have a nice mix here so that it looks balanced. So we'll leave that placement there for now. And then I'm just creating a structure at this point. So I want to make sure I have a placeholder for a name and a year, because those are typically what people are looking for in terms of personalization on these. So we'll just go with Lucas, which happens to be my son's name. And then we'll duplicate this one. And so I'm not adding more fonts here. I'm just using kind of my initial structure here. And so we'll just get that centered. We'll put that there. And so we've got everything centered. I can always just double check by using the alignment on the right-hand side. And so now that gives me kind of initial structure. And so now it's time to bring in our trend element, which is a bear. So I actually have a prompt that I created from my AI ChatGPT school group that I'll use as my starting point here. And to do this, because I want to be able to generate perhaps a few different things, that I'm just creating an element here, not a full design, an element. I am just going to create an extra little artboard off to the side. And this is where I will generate my image. So I'm just going to come over here to Kittl AI. I love Kittl's AI because it's already built in and it has several image models that you can choose from. I personally really like Nano Banana. I've gotten really good results from it. And the other one that I really like is Sea Dream 4 for different uses. But Nano Banana is really kind of versatile and works for a lot of different styles. So I'll use that one. And so I've got my prompt in here, and I'm just going to let that generate, and that's going to generate here on my artboard. So once we've got that, you can see it's a cute little design, cute little bear, but there's not necessarily a niche connection. And that is kind of that extra little layer that I want to incorporate into this process. And so from here is where I'm going to use one of my absolute favorite functions within Kittl, and that is called Kittl Flows. And to do that, I'm going to just click on this little artboard. So I've got the whole thing selected, not the image, the artboard itself. And then I'm going to click on Smart Board, and that's going to bring over another board next to it. And to the right, I simply describe what I want to do with this image to change it. And so for the sports niche, it's winter, so let's go with hockey. And so I'm just going to say change the Bears outfit to a blue hockey jersey with the number 14 and have the bear holding a hockey stick. And you can see it's going to continue using Nano Banana as the image model. And then I click generate. And so it's going to take this original image that I have here, and it's going to change it based on just that very simple instruction. Notice it wasn't really fancy. It was more so conversational. And so now you can see it's generated that. This time it's generate with the hockey stick behind the bear. So sometimes it will generate it in different ways. So if needed, you can always click on generate again. And so now with this second one, I really like the way that that one looks. Now, here's where it gets fun. You can use this to create all sorts of different variations if you choose to. So I have a bear in this one. I could click on Smart Board again. It'll create another board, and I can say change to a goose. So now we've created our own little silly goose version, right? Another little trend. Or if we're like, you know what? I want to use this for personalization, right? Maybe I want to allow the customer to change the jersey number or to choose a different sport. I could go back to this one, click on Smart Board. Now you can see it's going to branch off of this one. And now I can say, change the jersey number to, let's say, 17. And now it's going to take what it created in the last one, and it's going to change just that element. Now, sometimes when you are generating them from a previous image, it might change other small little details, but you can see this one is pretty darn close to this one. The only thing that changed is the only thing I asked for, which was the jersey number. And again, you can make this scalable. Let's say that I want to infiltrate a few different sports mom-related niches, right? And instead of just one hockey, baby's first hockey ornament, I also want to create one for football. So I can create another board off of this one. Again, we're still branching off of that. And I can say, change to a football jersey. And let's change the color. Let's say we want it to be green and holding a football. And again, it's going to be very iterative, and it's going to base it off of wherever you branched off this smart board. So again, it's still basing it off of this last instruction here and simply updating it with our new information. And so now you can see, changed it to green, kept the original 14 instruction in there, right? And now he's holding a little football. These are not fancy prompts that I'm giving it. They're simply a phrase, a short little prompt, a short little instruction, almost as if I think of it as if I am like sitting over the shoulder of a designer sitting on a computer, and I'm pointing to the screen and saying, make this change or make it do this or make it look like that. And instead of a designer sitting there making the tweaks, Kittl Flows and the AI behind it is powering that and making those changes for us. This allows me to make my designs wildly scalable. And so if you don't already have Kittl and want to check it out, I've got a link for you below along with a special discount for my audience. So you'll find all the details in the description. And now from here, we want to finish our design, right? So let's go back to this one. And let's say this was the image that we really like and we want to use for our product, right? Because we're still creating our product. So now, right now it's sitting as a smart board. And so I want to convert to image. And that usually just creates it right next to it. And so I usually just bring it down to a free space. And then from here, because this is an AI generated image, I typically still like to just do a quick upscale on it. So that's all built in right here on the right-hand side. I do a quick upscale, and then I also remove the background because I want it to be transparent going onto the product. And so now you can see I've got that. Now, if I am wanting to be able to use this on other things, I will oftentimes just do a quick copy paste. And so now I'm just bringing one of those up here onto my actual product that I've been working on. So from here, this is where I already had kind of my basic structure of design already there. So now I'm just kind of tweaking the composition just a little bit to make everything just fit really nice within this space. And so that looks pretty good. I'm just going to nudge this up a little bit. And again, we've got our template behind it so I can see exactly where I'm placing this and exactly where all of those little cutoffs are going to be, because I don't want to go outside of those lines for the printing process, because then we are at risk of our design getting cut off. So that looks pretty good, I think, and is ready to go. If I wanted to change any of the colors here, I could. Sometimes I will change it to match. So I could even go with a similar blue that's in the design itself. So I could change that coloring very easily. And again, if I wanted to have a batch of designs like this, I could create them similar. I could create different colors. And I could also duplicate this and have another one ready and bring in any of our other designs, because now I've got a batch that's all here on the same project area. So it's very easy to kind of work. I like working in this way just because it keeps it all together, and I can really have a lot of freedom to brainstorm, try some different designs, use AI, generate a few different times, and not have to bounce around a lot between different artboards and different screens. Is all very self-contained and ready for me to just start creating and not have to think about a lot of the little logistics. So once we've got this ready, I don't want the templates behind it when I export it. So I'm just going to delete that before I exit. And then I can simply grab my artboard and I'm ready to export it as a transparent PNG, and it's ready for the product. So then when I am back over in Printify, I simply upload the design as is. And because I created the design based on this exact template, I literally have not touched anything else. This is exactly the way it uploaded, and it is placed precisely where I want it to be. So I can even look at preview if I wanted to, just to kind of see what it looks like. And that is spot on for what I am looking for. Now, with this, you could certainly leave off the personalization in the core part of the design, because Printify does now have the ability for you to upload your own fonts. So if you wanted to add in your own personalization field here, you could certainly do it that way also. I get my custom fonts from Creative Fabrica when I use them, and you can upload those fonts into Kittl as well. So it's a great way now to have that crossover. And so I think this is a really helpful update, and it's one that we've been waiting for a long time in Printify. So I'm really excited that it's here now. And so from this point, this is ready to save as a product. And so then it will have you choose your mockups if you were choosing them and using them from here. And so then from here, I'm just updating my listing details. One thing I want to mention too is I always make sure that I turn on this personalization and include the instruction to buyers here, because then with that turned on, it means that when an order comes in, Printify will hold that order for the personalization process. I've got a separate video that walks through all of that along with this updated feature. So you can check that out and I will link that for you. But that is one thing that I have found super helpful just in that workflow. Otherwise, this is ready to finalize the details and go ahead and save it. And that's it. In just a few minutes, we took a trending element, paired it with a profitable niche, and turned it into an in-demand product. The goal here wasn't to overcomplicate it. We didn't create a full illustration or an elaborate scene, just simple, intentional design that connects with a real buyer. That's truly the heart of it. Remember, you don't need complex designs to make consistent sales and tap into current trends. Customer identity connection and a little help from AI can go a long way in keeping things simple but effective. Simple sells when it connects. That's really the whole secret most people overlook. If you want to keep learning how to find profitable niches and stay ahead of the trends that are actually performing out on Etsy, come hang out with us over inside Simply Thrive. Each month, I share trends like the one we looked at today, and it also includes full access to my custom AI ChatGPT bots and so much more. Alternatively, I also have a mini group over on School if you're just looking for regular design prompts each month, and you still get full access to my custom built bots as well. They have been a game changer for hundreds of sellers because they are built with all of my own knowledge, content, and best practices for Etsy success. I've got both options linked for you below, along with the special Kittl discount I mentioned earlier. I hope you found this helpful. Make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive on all things Etsy and print on demand. In the meantime, stay focused, my friends. Keep taking action and never stop pursuing excellence in your business. Thanks for watching. I'm so glad you're here, and I'll see you in the next one.